Okay, so this is the equation that you will have. Now what you'll notice is that our bases of the logarithms are not the same. Here the logarithm has a base x, and over here the logarithm has base 4. Now whenever you're dealing with equations like this, the first thing to do is always change one of the bases to the other one. It doesn't actually matter which one you change, that is entirely up to you. So what I will do is this first one over here, I'm going to change it so that the base is 4. Now we have a law for that. You can look it up and then you will see that if I want to change the base from x to 4, I just write it as log my new base 4, and then this 4 over here goes over there, and then in the denominator again I have a log base 4, and then this x over here comes over there. Now you can see my denominator over there, my numerator has base 4, denominator is base 4, this 4 came down over here, and this x over here came down over there. Then the other one remains the same, so I just write this as log 4 x, this is equal to 5/4. Okay, so then what I do from here is I notice in my numerator over there, log of 4 to the base of 4, this is by definition equal to 1. So what I have is 1 over log 4x minus log 4x, this is equal to 5/4. Okay, so that's a little bit more simplified. Then I do not usually like to work with fractions. We don't like to do that. So what we do is we multiply out the denominators. I'm going to multiply this one out as well as that one so that we don't have any fractions. So if I multiply by log 4 base log x base 4, I will have this. I just need to keep going back and forth so I know what I have. So I'll have 1, was that a plus or a minus? It was a minus log base 4 of x. Now when I multiply this by another one, this is actually going to be squared. And then when I multiply 5/4 over here by this log x base 4, I will have 5/4 times log, that's supposed to be a log 4 and x. Okay, then we said we need to multiply the 4 out as well, so I will have 4 minus log 4x squared. There's supposed to be a 4 over there. This is, where is my eraser? And this is squared. Does that look like a squared? Okay, and then this is equal to 5, not over. Okay. Now some of you may notice that this is a quadratic equation. If you're not able to, that is fine. You see this part here, this is log of x base 4. It has been squared, and then over here I have the term by itself. So if I let this equal to y, if I put y over here, then my equation will look like this: 4 minus 4y squared, because it's being squared over here, and this is equal to 5y. So you can see that this is a quadratic equation. This is an example of equations that are reducible to quadratic form. So you can write them in a quadratic form and then you solve them in the way that we normally do. Now there are three ways that we've talked about solving quadratic equations. You can factor a quadratic equation, you can complete the square, or you can use the formula. Now the first thing to do is to rewrite this so that it is in standard form. I'll go to a new page. I have 4 y squared, and what did I have? If I take everything to this side, it'll be 4y squared plus 5y. And then this 4, when it goes to this side, it becomes negative 4. This is equal to 0. Okay, so if we were going to factorize this, I would have to look for two numbers that when I multiply them, the answer is negative 16. And when I add them, the answer is positive 5. 16, you get it 16 and 1, 4 and 4, 8 and 2. None of those, whether one of them is positive or negative, will add up to 5. So we're left with either the quadratic equation or completing the square. Okay, so I will use the quadratic equation. So I have y. This is equal to minus b, so it's minus of negative 5 plus or minus the square root of b squared. This is 5 squared minus 4 times a is 4 times c. Oops, sorry about that. And then c is negative 4. Okay. So that's what we have, and this is all divided by 2 times a, which is 4. Okay, so you should be able to work this out. Sorry, this is minus b. I don't know why I did that. So it's minus b. Okay, that shouldn't be there. I'm getting confused. It's this new equipment that I'm using, trying to get used to it. Okay, so I have minus, oh dear, what happened? Okay, so I have minus 5 plus or minus the square root. Here I have 25 minus 4 times 4 times minus 4. So I have 25. I need a calculator for that. Well, not really, but I prefer to use a calculator. Okay, I get 89, square root of 89, and this is all over 8. Okay, so this, if you work it out again on your calculator, you could have done this in one step. And let me quickly do that. I have negative 5 negative 5 plus the square root of 89 divided by 8. Okay, so I have 0.554. This is my first y, so I'll put this is y1. And then y2, this is equal to Okay, I get negative 1.804 if I write it to 4 decimal places. Now we need to remember that y is not what we are asked to find. We were asked to find out what x is. Now if you remember what we said y is, where is that? Okay, so we said y is log x to base 4. So we have log x the base 4. This is equal to negative 1.804, or the other one, log this is equal to 0.554. Now you know how to solve these ones. It's very simple to do. So this one over here, I will just say x is equal to 4. This is a 4 to the power of negative 1.804. And then this one over here, I will have x is equal to 4 to the power of 0.5. Oh dear, that is not looking good. Okay, this is 0.554. Okay, then this one over here, if you work it out on your calculator, you have 4 to the power of 1.804. I get 12.193. That's a 3. Okay, and over here I get x is equal to x is equal to 2.155. Okay, now just a few things. Avoid rounding off your answers over here. So I just did this to illustrate it, but when you substitute it over here, it should be the exact value that you got from the calculator. Same thing over here, and then only round off your final answers. So your two answers, x is equal to 12 point that, and x is equal to this one. Okay, so this was just me trying to use this new equipment. It might need a little bit more work, but I'll keep working on it. Now the other questions, you can do them in pretty much the same way, and once I have this technology figured out, I will make some more videos.